Like,
Oh yeah, I used to live in Douglas
because
County. My bad, 4AR,
it's
so they
because
just demoed.
yeah, no, you cool. It's because our representatives feel like, and they got reason to believe it, that once they get in, they don't have to listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they lie to us all during the election cycle and during election season. And as soon as they get up in there, they do what they want to do. All right. But you go ahead and be a one-term representative or one-term senator, one-term or one-term president if you want to. But we're not going to sit here and just keep taking this and go and then just, when it's the next election cycle, just fall back on the devil you know better than the devil you don't.
That part.
Well, you if know this one person ain't did what you said, what you wanted them to do, or what they said they were going to do, why give them another chance?
Facts. Oh, you see what Fold AR said? Think about this. The Fold AR is the only platform that bridges the political gap. Who doesn't want to protect kids? That's hands down. That's facts. What's up, Rita? Yeah, that is solid facts. That's why I wanted to work with y'all about some things because I know some people that actually do protection details at schools, and even when it comes to a lot of these colleges and universities, a lot of the companies that I work with, when they are running armed, a lot of them are doing handguns. Um, and a lot of them want to get into long arms, but the biggest thing is we don't want a guy walking around campus with a big rifle across his chest. That's why I said I wanted to talk to you guys too, because the fact of having something that can be deployed fast, rapidly in such a compact package, and I think it was the 9 inch with a suppressor that folds up to be 12 inches in total. Um, so, and it'll fit in an 18-inch book bag. Those are things that matter, especially when trying to have these tough conversations, especially in cities like Philadelphia. But not even just that, cities everywhere. But that's actually a good point on the political side. I like that handguns equals dead kids. Not even that. I think um
Yeah, I need some more explanation on that comment.
oh wow, the 10-5. Oh wow. Now that's even better. The 10-5 folds, is that with a suppressor or without? A lot of our schools are in blue counties. Kyle, what's going on, bro? I ain't gonna lie. 10-5 folder? That's crazy.
Yeah, that is that.
Nah,
Something
bro.
to think
I
about
don't know
right
if you
there.
seen I don't know if you seen a platform before. I remember I had a client that ordered one back in 2021, and I got to mess with it, but when his was actually folded up, it was literally about the size of my iPad Pro folded, which was pretty interesting. It was
Yeah,
literally about the size of my iPad Pro. Like that thing was kind of crazy. That was my first time. Okay, that's without the suppressor for the 10-5. Okay. Um, yeah, that was my first time, and I remember I talked to some of the people Fold AR, and Fold AR, shout outs to you because since then, um, y'all growth has been crazy since back then. This is the way to make lawmakers decisive. School protection, 100%. That's factual. Um, I think that, and we got to get these people better trained, man, because I think Uvalde was a grim reminder of police do not have the duty to protect people because you might have that badge on, but when you scared, you scared, and that's what the training provides confidence. Um, Kurt, what up? And I even and it's so funny that I got you guys on and we're talking about training aspects, being working in chaotic environments. So years ago, it's funny that Josh is actually on here tonight. This years ago, and he'll remember the situation when I started getting into it. We were leaving a location that we protect. A guy came past earlier in the night, asked if we could stop past and help them with a let out. We didn't really respond, but I'm thinking like, man, these dudes ain't ready, man. So we packing up. I say, Josh, man, let's ride up here. Da, da, da. He said, nah. That's putting it the nice way. He said more than no, but I'm gonna put it the nice way for the sake of Instagram and YouTube. He said
Right.
no. Let's not back him up. It's on them. I said, all right, bro. I dap him up. I said, I'm gonna slide up there. Um, I'll holler at you later. So he sit there for a minute looking at me. Now I know he mad. He like, all right, man, come to going, bro. He's like, we're gonna go up there, get out, man. Carl, what up, bro? Click pop, what up? So then me and Josh go up there to back these dudes up. He ain't want to go anyway, but he wasn't gonna let me go by myself.
Yeah, no, I
So
wasn't.
so we get up there, we park, we walk up. Now this time I'm running my thigh rig Glock 19. Josh out there with a 12 gauge. We like, yo, they is all these people outside. Now this is where I say you training can prepare you for some things, but some things training builds the confidence to help you operate in chaos. I'll put it that way. So as me and Josh is up here, we telling people, yo, y'all gotta go, y'all gotta go. Next thing you know, all we hear is pop, 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 pop. So now all of these people, just imagine, like y'all understand, y'all, how many people's out there, bro? Like 100.
It had to be like 100.
So just imagine 100 people running towards you, and you're going towards the gunfire. They're running from the gunfire. We're running towards the gunfire. He shotgun up. Me got the Glock 19. We sweeping through the crowd. We get through everybody. And a car pulls off. So we both looking at the car like, all right, dude, and there ain't have a gun. Okay. So then we scanning like, all right, where the hell it come from? So it's this one girl just standing there with like a birthday cake. So we looking at her, we walking towards her, but we still scanning because somebody was just shooting, right? And then she's like, oh my God, I'm hit. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We walk over, I see where she's hit. It was a small caliber, probably 22, because she got shot in the leg, and the trickle of blood went down maybe this much. It was moving slow, slow as like a snail, right? So then this is the humorous part. The people that we went to back up, right? Once these shots went off, they locked themselves inside the building and locked me and Josh outside the building. Now, the thing is, we wasn't trying to get in the building anyway. We was out there ready for all the smoke. But it's crazy because we went to bag y'all up and y'all ran and left us outside and locked us outside. So yeah, everybody's not built for this. Some people probably would have been banging on the door like, let us in, let us in. We didn't even know they locked us out till everything was over, till we hear them open the door. And we like, yo, we got a girl that's hit. So then they like, oh, one bull trying to come pick her up and sue her. Nah, put her down, bro. Stop trying to be him now. You was inside. Put her down. Don't try to come over here being a hero now. Everything is safe.
Right.
So we also need to increase training because when these things happen, people fold. Nah, click, you right. Not everybody built for this. Like they literally and click, this the thing. We weren't working that. We came to help y'all. And then y'all lock us outside? How that work?
See, Byron's being nice. This is exactly why I didn't want to go down there because I knew the caliber of people we were backing up. I said, why are we going to go down to a detail that's not ours?
I don't know, yo. I guess I was a little bit with I was a little bit with the bull with the BS that night. But my guy was riding
I
with me,
mean,
so
yeah, no, I ain't. But go ahead. What was your punishment for that, though? I mean, not punishment. What was my payback for that?
when the cops came and everything was said and done, one of us had to go to the police station. And it was me. I ain't get home till like 8 o'clock in the morning and had stuff to do. I was so pissed off,
I was
yo.
not going down to the police department and making a report for something I didn't want to be at in the first place.
And we was the only two that could do it because we was the only ones outside.
Outside who could see anything.
What's up, Christy? Uh-oh.
B, what's
You
that
was the
tonight?
you was the Easter bunny at the White House. That's awesome. Yes, full
Wasn't
ER
that the night
training
the
is key.
patrol officer was mad because he was like, I wish I could work with a shotgun?
Hmm.
Wasn't that the night the police officer said, damn, I wish we could still work with shotguns?
Yup. Oh, full AR. Y'all designing a folding unit. Oh, I need
Well,
some details about that. Hit me up. I want the scoop. I'm trying to help y'all premiere some of that new. He said that's how it is in the military. Listen, if we in the military and you run, listen, by the time they came outside, the cops was there. So we can't punch on other agents. It'll look real crazy. But in the military, listen, man, when them superiors not around and we gotta go back to them barracks, oh, we gonna hold your ass accountable. That's all I'm gonna say. You will be held accountable eventually.
who do we have in here? Let me see. I don't think we got any Philadelphia agents in here.
Yeah, training or not character takes over. Yeah. Yeah, Carl, I know you seen it, man. Cause I remember me and you had conversations. People and get a little active out there in Houston.
Yeah.
Mmm.
Carl, we're gonna get out there to you and sometime. I ain't doing Texas summer, but I'll get out there with me and B get out there with you sometime in the fall or spring or something.
Look, Carl already said, he said we just gotta come down, get some work in. What
Oh,
about the
most
SIG?
definitely.
Oh, what about the SIG XM7F? Mm.
That's
I ain't
sweet.
even I ain't even get a chance to play with that yet. Most folks are going to fold. Click, you right. Um, One of the biggest things is training, man. And people think training is just a joke, but training builds confidence because when you train enough to you're so confident in your capabilities, you're cool with running into that building that's on fire. Oh, it's in the design phase. I gotta look into it. You have
I
it so good.
mean, yep,
Wait,
you
what
get
you talking about, Brandy? I know you ain't run. I know you ain't run, my boy. I know you probably had to get somebody, what's that joint called in the military? A blanket party.
attitude adjustment.
Had to put some soap in the sock and understand, run again. Run again.
And then we also got to remember, like, to piggyback on what B's saying about training, you don't rise to the occasion in situations like this. You fall to the level of your training.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, those individuals that night,
What
the
up,
one thing
Rev?
I will give them is their instructions were, their post orders were, in the event of a situation, to retreat indoors and just protect the establishment inside. I
TCD
can't.
was good.
I couldn't. I couldn't stand by that because y'all had over 100 of y'all patrons, y'all customers, locked outside. Like they couldn't even get in to find safety or cover because y'all locked them
Facts.
all outside.
Facts.
Granted, this was after closing time, but still, y'all sat there and what I mean, it's not like we saw the video, but what I assume is they pushed everybody outside and locked the door.
They, yo, that
So
that Listen, man, when I say y'all don't even understand, like when I say it wasn't like soon as everything stopped, they came outside, like
No, we was out there for like 15, 20 minutes before they opened that door.
we was out there for a little bit. Like when I'm saying scene secured, girl shot, we already identified that. Everybody else that
Ambulance
didn't know
was on
her
the
was
way.
going.
Matter of fact, PD was there. They didn't open the door till PD knocked on the door, didn't they? Right?
Yeah, no, right before. Cause he came
Right
out
before.
and that's when he's like, you see the lights, man. You can put your gun away. I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You wasn't even outside, man.
Right.
Get away from me, bro. Oh, come up here talking to me now. Telling some, oh, you know, you could. No, don't tell me I can host up. You wasn't out here, bro. Go back inside and have a seat. That's what y'all do. Don't tell me what to do. Y'all look good inside the bar. Y'all not outside. We outside. But yeah, like training is definitely key. And if you're working at a school, you definitely should have some good um stressful training because like when I forgot what shooting it was a while ago where they got the sheriff's officer running to another building. And it's a good thing like with the full AR package, right? Um it's small enough so you don't have an officer just walking around with a rifle. You just got a book bag. Looking blending in with the kids. But at the same time, when you expect somebody to respond to shooting, which is usually a long arm, typically a rifle, and you want them to respond with a handgun, not even, you know, possibly outnumbering the threat. Because if you outnumber the threat, at least you could overwhelm them with firepower. If y'all are trained enough, and you figure everybody's running Glock 17, 19. So if you get, let's say, three people with Glock 19s, you would typically have 45 rounds. Now, most threats are just going to mag dump because no training sense, right? So if y'all spread out y'all cadence, nobody should, if you could get it in sync, so you guys aren't all reloading at the same time. So if you notice one of your guys is just boom, 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 you shouldn't be on that same cadence. Maybe boom, boom, because the last thing you want is all the y'all to go dry at the same time. Now nobody has cover fire. And now you're hoping that everybody on your team can reload under duress. What up, Grizz?
But now
Uh,
let's also understand the situation you're in. This is where we got to be careful about the terminology we use.
all right, so
As private
Grizz,
security, there should be no such thing as cover fire.
uh,
Like,
yeah,
let's understand, we do not have qualified immunity.
nah, facts.
Uh,
Now, Grizz,
so
the only problem I have with what you're saying, Grizz, and I'm always promoting people to become educators in the firearm space. But the
no,
fact
that's
that you
probably not more
said,
protected.
but you said you're ready to take the instructor course because becoming a firearms guide, there's decent money, especially in your area. That's the problem with the firearms training game now, Grizz. Too many people in it for the money and not about the education. So, if you're in it just for the money, I suggest you do not become an instructor because you're one of the people, not to point you out, but because you said because of the money. When I started doing this, man, it wasn't a lot of instructors out here. Now we was out here doing it for forever. Like me personally, I've been in it over a decade. Um, but it's like when you're building this and it's all for the love, because I spent more time with people than they paid for because for me it was important for them to learn certain techniques that could save their life. It wasn't about the money. Because if you pay me $300 for a class and then a month later you use those same skills and you survive a deadly encounter, you couldn't buy that three. That's way more than $300. That's why I do it though. So you got to change the way that the reason that you want to do it.
I agree with what Byron's saying. But
Barefoot Viking, what
at the
up?
same time, there's nothing wrong if you're good at something and you're providing a service. There's nothing wrong with getting paid for it. But what he's saying is the money shouldn't be the driving factor because then there's a chance that the money will drive the education that you're given.
Exactly.
And that's a dangerous situation.
Yeah, because you out here playing with people's lives. Don't look at it like, oh yeah, I can make some money in here. Look at it like you tell somebody the wrong thing, they die. YouTube, what up? What up, y'all? We a little off topic. We started getting into training. YouTube. We was talking politics, not politics. We were talking policies. We don't do politics, but we do policies because
And
policies
also,
affect the
one
people.
thing, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. One thing I would say about, and I'll say this because it goes along with what we were saying about working the detail. Before you get into a new line of work, it's important to take a good hard look at yourself. Because one thing, and part of the reason why I was so happy Byron started teaching, is I noticed there's a lot of instructors out here who are just regurgitating information and can't instruct and cannot teach. Byron can teach. Byron is able to look at an individual student and figure out the best way to get them to understand what they're trying to learn. You can't just sit there and go, all right, I have to teach clearing a malfunction. This is how you clear a malfunction. This is how you load a gun. This is a you can do that in the safety course. This is a magazine. This is a slide. This is but in order to understand and really have success as an instructor, you need to understand I'm going to teach a teenager differently than I'm going to teach a 40-year-old who has bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
If this individual has had a traumatic experience with firearms, I got to go a completely different way to teach. I can't just throw the gun in their hand and say, "All right, give me a course of fire, 5 shots right now. Let's go." I can't do that. It's not. You're probably going to traumatize the person more.
Facts. And this is something that none of these institutions teach you.
That's why I don't. I have not, and I'll always held off on the NRA instructor curriculum because to me it felt, and hopefully at some point soon it'll change. To me, it felt like it was just a numbers game. They
Yeah.
just wanted to get their percentage of your classes. Here's the information. Here's what you got to teach. You got to do this. You got to go from A to B to C to D to E. If they don't get it here, they don't pass. I'm assuming and it's not.
Yeah.
It's like you got to think back to when you was in school. Your favorite teacher was the one who could get through to you and help you understand what they were trying to teach you.
Like Mr. Zane, man. Mr. Zane was that guy. He'd threaten you though.
Yeah, he threatened the hell out of you. But so, and I mean, that's also another reason why me and B work so well together. We've known each other for 30 years.
Facts.
So I can be across the street, look at him, and pretty much tell what's on his mind. So then that's why it's important, especially if you're gonna do the security thing, to have a team.
Yep. Because you might
Not
not
just
always be able to verbally communicate.
right.
You you might have to know it got real, like by looking like, oh shit, just got real. Hold on, let me see. it's the money, but it's also the fact that I don't want people falling victim to crime, especially my brothers in the hood. I mean, yeah, but Grizz, this is the thing, you gotta look at it, right? The average person isn't gonna come off and be ready to defend herself after one or two classes. That takes practice. Once again, I'm gonna reiterate how I said earlier. It's cops that freeze up. They go through 6 to 9 months of an academy. So, and then you gotta understand what people don't, and what a lot of instructors don't get is, yeah, y'all taking these checks, right? And y'all doing all of this stuff. But what y'all really gotta understand is that you can end up getting pulled in court when this person shoots somebody. So when you say whatever you said to them and they say what you said to them, which probably ain't gonna be the same, to the police or attorney, you're gonna be in court. And you're gonna have to stand on what you just told. So you think about this money, think about how that's full circle for you. One thing I love about policy is that 9 by 10 it doesn't trump law. Yeah. Well, it depends though. Well, wait, because Josh, the thing that's going on in Colorado, those
Mm-hmm.
the policies that they're implementing, that's going to impact what the people could do in the state, right?
Oh, absolutely. That was a no. That was a law. If I read it correctly,
Nah, matter of
it
fact,
was
all right. So that was the law.
yeah, that was a law. They supposedly passed a law that said you needed a 12-hour safety course or a 12-hour training of some kind, and your permit and something else in order to purchase or own a firearm that uses detachable magazine.
Yep. There's a big difference between the teacher and the instructor. Facts.
Absolutely. Why is my see?
You
It's
need
that
me to
same.
you need me to change your perspective
I'm not seeing
because you
none
have
of the new
potential.
content.
Reek, what's up, man? But I'm chasing paper because I'm broke. This is the thing, Grizz. If you do something you love, the money will come. This is what I tell people all the time. I never wanted to become Byron the instructor. I just wanted to run my security company and live my best life. And me and Josh was on that. And then my mentor, at the same time that me and Josh started all of the security stuff, pushed me into this firearms instructor lane. And then fast forward over a decade, I don't even really do security that much.
Right.
It's like a lot of the people can't afford me now. But it became a passion of educating people. The security was the passion because we could protect people. But what happened when we leave? But if I'm training you and you train enough, now you have the skills to protect yourself in the absence of the security. That's the powerful point of why I fell in love with this. Walter Shelley, what up? Bama Perry, what up, my guy? They have to make it a law because, all right, yeah, well, it is a law. Azika, um, police become what? That's police become feelings enforcement instead of law enforcement. Yeah, that is true. There's still nah, Grizz. If you're new to it, you need to make sure that you before becoming an instructor, you should definitely educate yourself enough to understand the ins and outs. Like Josh, I had to tell him he shouldn't be an instructor. You know why I told him that, Josh? He told me he was thinking about becoming an instructor after failing the 235 test.
Yeah.
So y'all don't know what that qualification is, but Josh does. That's why I said that. But it's like you need time because when you're serious in your craft of that, certain things like that shouldn't be a challenge. That should have been easy money. But at the same time, I know solid instructors that don't shoot the best. But the way that they articulate information, she'll be shooting better than them. And I know great shooters that are shitty instructors because they could shoot, but the way that they can't articulate information properly. But yeah, if you live in Colorado, man, my man said my biggest fear as an instructor is teaching someone to become a better killer. Well, if you're a good judge of character, you could read when something's off with people. People don't understand. As an instructor, you damn near be a therapist too. That's what people don't understand. You'd be surprised how many times you gotta be a therapist for people. And you have to be transparent enough to remove your feelings and emotion and utilize logic. Also, just because you big doesn't mean you can do security. Yo, that's a fact, Brandon. Because listen, man, I done seen some big dudes get put on their back pockets, man. And listen, you can be big as you want to be. Listen, bullets slow everybody down. I just want my CCW. I'm cool off all that instructor stuff. Nah, man, get that CCW. We get you right out here, man. I'm not sure where you from. They do the same thing when they run all those active shooter drills. You educate both the shooter and the victim. Sometimes you can't help it. Yeah, you have to. You gotta have both phases. Um, Me and Josh were actually working on the curriculum when it came to colleges and stuff like that because it is two sides of that. You have to have the side that for the law enforcement or the protectors, and you also have to have a side for the protectees, how to move, things that you could do to better increase your survival until help comes.
Absolutely.
He said, mind my business. I don't even think I want to get into the Act 235 game anymore. Man, listen, it is lucrative if you get with the right people.
Yeah, it definitely is.
What do you say? I'm 6'5", big dog. People are naturally drawn to me. I just got that ability. I'm in the trenches of Flint, Michigan. Oh, okay, okay. I got one more. Okay, yeah. So you 20. You got one more year to get you to you 21. Man, listen. When you turn 21, invest in training because Philly is not looking like it's getting any better right now. And with these tariffs and the way things are going to go up, Philly is probably going to get worse. So make sure you keep your nose clean, your record clean. So when you turn 21, you could go ahead and purchase your firearm legally, get your license to carry, and then put money to the side now to invest in training. Training is what is going to get you home.
Start training now. Start training now.
I mean,
Find
yeah,
you a
you
range that lets you rent. Find you an instructor. Go ahead pick out what gun you want.
the
Start
instructor is
training on
here.
that.
The instructor's here. Send me a DM. We'll get you right.
Yeah. We
But
can put damn near any gun you want in your hands and let you get used to it. Start figuring it out how to manipulate it, how to run it.
let me see. My dad has never shot a gun and told me nothing about guns. Trying to learn, but taking it slow because of my mental health history. Um, okay, life is complex. I know you might not want to dive into that on here, but I'm curious as to what happened. Um, as far as your mental health history, you don't have to put it in here. You can send me a DM and then we could chat. privately about that because I'm interested in what else happened. But I'm cool off the X235. I'm a firefighter EMT. I be oh you be training with Drees. It's my boy. Drees is my guy. Big Ash, what up? Slim, what up? Yeah, Drees is my guy, man. Drees will teach you how to drag somebody up and down the street. Yo, listen, man, I got some stories, man. Drees is literally, yo, I think training with Drees, he's the one person that really instills that mental toughness about you being able to make it. I remember we was training one day hand to hand. This MFR pulled a sword out. Like I said, yo, because we already trained. It was just me and Drees in there working. Man, I got tired. Got chopped with the wooden sword instead. I was so tired I ain't even move. He said, "Oh, you tired? Okay." He went and pulled that thing out. I said, "Yo, that's sharp." He said, "If you don't move, you're gonna find out." Wait, what? What? Needless to say, he was not playing. He still swung at the same energy as the other one. I did not get cut or stabbed, and to this day, I do not know if it is sharp. But my body pulled that energy together. My brain tapped into that reserve tank, and we was gonna be all right. Bro, how you a firefighter and you worried about being 235? Listen, man, I'm not running into no burning building. I'll be a dope firefighter until the building on fire. And they say go in. Who? It's hot in there. I ain't going in there. That building is hot. Fire is unpredictable.
Fire and roll them hoses like a professional.
Right. Yeah, I'll be outside rolling the hoses up and everything. I ain't going inside though. It's tough. Only jobs here are security, police, fugitive recovery, or minimum wage. Good luck getting into Walmart or Me Her, whatever that is.
Where?
Flint, Michigan.
Oh yeah, shit. I'm sure jobs are.
Fugitive recovery is crazy. A guy posted on the forum today that a fugitive recovery agent was killed in Georgia. Um,
I'm sorry to hear that.
all right, cool, yeah, man. I'll check my DMs when I'm done here. Drees will push you is an understatement. Drees will
Right.
definitely get you there. That's a fact. Hey man, just drive the truck. I don't know if they got a position where you could just drive the truck. Because if it was, I'd be a dope firefighter. Be out here in that big engine, the big steering wheel, hitting them. Hold, you know how they hold on to the throw. They got their hump. The big steering wheel, yeah.
Listen,
YouTube, what up,
one
man?
thing for sure, two things for certain. It's a completely different level of training when your instructor is an asshole. And with all due respect to Drees is an asshole.
Drees will have you on beast mode, man, and it's like,
Oh, you will get the results.
oh yeah, he gonna pull
Listen,
the
one thing
results
for
out
sure,
you.
two things for certain. One thing for sure, two things for certain. Drees is going to make sure his reputation is not tarnished. You will not say that you were trained by Drees and not be able to prove it.
Yo, listen, Drees had you out here. You be standing there, be 30 people in front of you, like, say something else. You be like, all right, bro, do what you gotta do. Yeah, man, I definitely be looking for that DM. Yeah, fugitive recovery is definitely trash. That is something you really gotta have heart for. You gotta have heart. You gotta have and Drees actually did that too. You gotta be willing to go run into the unknown. Like fugitive recovery, law enforcement, being military, a lot of those things are like that. You have to have your training got to be up to par because, like I said, the training builds confidence. When you know what you're capable of, that builds the confidence for you to get into these situations and these altercations. Like I said, that story earlier with me and Josh here. Um, I wanted to go help these dudes out because I'm like, man, these dudes ain't ready. Josh ain't care. It's like, they ain't our team. It's on them. But then I said, all right, bro, have a good night. I'm gonna slide up here. He got mad because he ain't want to go, but he went because I went. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. And then we get up there, like 100.
And they were who we thought they were.
They were exactly who they thought we. They were exactly who we thought they were. When the gunshot started, I mean, they ran inside and locked the door. Me and Josh running through 100 plus people trying to get to a shooter, guns up, and yeah, they left us, man. Bro, if you
And
could
it's
go
not like
toward,
they didn't know we were coming.
huh?
It's not like they didn't know we were coming.
Right, they knew we was gonna be there. They talked to us, so they knew we was there. And they still left us. Crazy. That's
And the
nasty
perfect
work,
came.
man. And
The
you
perfect
said if
came
you
when it
could run
happened.
towards gunfire, you could run into a burning building. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. Now, see, guns run out of ammunition. I had a firefighter tell me he was in there when he was new. He thought he found the source of the fire. He's spraying it with the hose, but that wasn't the source. So all it was doing was getting hotter because once that fire was cooking all of that water, it evaporated. He said pretty much he was cooking inside that fire suit. Nah. What up, Jack? What up, Jack? Yeah, I ain't playing with that fire, man. Hey, Brandon, what you mean that'll turn you away? Too much to deal with? Honestly, man, if you got a solid team in the 235 business, you could really do some great things. And no matter where you work, there's always going to be a lot of things to deal with. But when you got a solid team, man, you go in there with the confidence of making it work. I know our first contract that we had for a while, we was in the hood. We right down the street from the projects. We was in there four deep, extremely underpaid, but it was when I said that was great training grounds for us. I mean, we didn't went through shootings, stabbings, um, full fledged like mob
Right.
fights, like like when you got 80 people, 80 plus people outside rumbling, a free fall for free falls, crazy. But when you got a solid team, man, it's different.
Yeah.
Yo, Dre, listen, Grizz, Drees get along with everybody. Drees is a monster, though. Drees is the nicest, meanest guy you'll ever meet. That's my bro, man. I go into war with Drees, man.
Respectful as hell. Till you give him a reason not to be.
And you gonna regret that one. I remember this dude was like 6'5", 6'6", big as hell. Like, yo, man, you ain't tough without that gun. Drees just sitting there like, I don't need this gun. I can fight. I was like, buddy, you don't even know the ass movie you about to walk into. You about to go in. You think you done got the smallest one out the crew, but you got the one that's with all of the smoke. He'll probably beat on you worse than the big dudes would.
Yeah. And will. And that's not cocky, that's confident.
Yeah, like listen, we trained with him. We did a whole thing of grappling, 5 minute UFC rounds. It was like five of us, 4 or 5 of us. Dree stayed on the mat and reset the clock every time, and one of us would get off, the next one would get on. He did this with all of us for 3 or 4 rounds. I told this man by the third round it was just bullying at this point because ain't nobody had nothing left but him. It was crazy. So if you tapped out and the 5 minutes wasn't over, y'all just started again until the 5 minutes was up. He will make you a beast, though, man.
That man is another level.
There's too much liability and danger with those people on bond. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With that fugitive recovery, man. Yeah. Um. Now I will say with the fugitive recovery, I haven't gotten real crazy or nothing like that. I know I got called in to do some stuff, but a lot of it, what people don't tell you, man, it ain't like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and you really could be sitting in a car on a house for 12 hours. It's not as exciting as people think, and when you get the excitement, you get the danger too. Cause think about it like this: the dude just wanted for this little bit of chump change, where you got a team of 5 or 6 people and y'all splitting $600. That ain't no money, right? But he ain't really do nothing. But when the motherfuckers then they wanted for murder and all, those the ones that's the ticket. Oh, they didn't jump. Oh, go get him. Y'all gonna split up 20,000. Yeah, this man already didn't kill somebody. He wanted for murder. You think he won't just say, "Okay, guys, y'all got me"? Nah, it ain't gonna be that.
Do you still get the money if they don't arrive alive?
I don't know. That's a good
I
point.
know they
Then,
can't say I know they can't say dead or alive anymore, but
like the Wild Wild West.
right. And I'm not saying like I always wondered that. Like, 'cause if you go for a big bond, let's just say they bail was 3 million, and they don't like, and shit go left, and they end up getting not making it. I'm gonna need my cut from that because I'm going to court. Like,
He
I'm
said he
gonna need my
sounds,
money to pay for the lawyer.
man. Listen, he sound like the gun version of Bull in the Ring at Oklahoma drills. Yeah, Drees is a monster, man. Furnace 2A Volt. Drees is cool as shit, but you better not be BS when it's time to get busy or training. Nah, Drees is cool as hell, man. But see, this is the thing. Drees is serious about training the same way I am because he understands that this is not play in real life. Drees, if you sit there and talk, Drees done seen some shit. Drees done been in a situation where it was all out brawl. People was getting stabbed. He was with a whole team. Actually, somebody that Drees was with that night, I know, he got hit in the head with something. One of the things that hold the rope up outside the club. I think he got hit in the head with one of them. Like he flatlined on the table and they brought him back. Like it get real out here. And that same event, Drees was there. When it got done, it was blood everywhere. Drees up here beating people up, doing what he got to do to disarm people, whatever that could be. But listen, you got a gun, you can get your arm broke real easy.
He wasn't beating people up.
I
He was
mean,
on the clock.
he was beating. I'm gonna say he might have been beating, breaking, everything. He said when that joint was done, Drees probably done knocked out like 40, 50 people in all of this commotion. He said the promoter came outside like crying, like, "Where were you? You see how many people out here?" He said it was so many people, there was so much going on. He trying to help everybody because he just, he with it. Dre, look, Dre's done seen his turn, his battles for sure, for sure. Tried and tested, and he's still here. I mean, you should get your 235 because you're an EMT. I'm gonna stop the bleeding instructor. So you know what that mean, man? We gotta tell people, man, the price ain't different. I mean, I said the price ain't different. The price ain't the same now because you getting a stop the bleed agent as well as a regular agent. So you gotta compensate me, man. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. You don't. I mean, yeah, they want you in fugitive recovery. Cause if somebody get hurt, you can help. That's why they want you in fugitive recovery.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
all about
an
marketing.
armed Uber service? I did hear something about that. I think it's in
I
like
heard about that.
California.
Yeah,
It's called Wolf or something. It's like an
Wolf.
app.
Yeah,
I actually downloaded the app to see if I could get information, but it said I'm not in the service area. Grizz, what are you talking about? Even with an illegal switch,
whoa, we don't do that.
Grizz, you know this is public, right? He said, "Fuck being a cop. I'd rather do fugitive recovery." I
Listen,
mean,
we do not condone the breaking of any laws.
yeah, right. Well, we can't stand by you with that. The Lions Guard Executive Protection. What up? Um, he said that shit ain't no Patty Mayo shit. Real life facts. I want to see a what? You want to see a motherfucker drop by some Connie Corsos?
Are
I
we on a
mean,
trolling here?
huh?
Somebody trolling?
No, that's Grizz. Grizz is different, man.
Oh, all right.
Gun cool and train like it matters because one day it will. I'm a firm believer Connie
That's
Corsos are the best dogs for fugitive recovery. Two dogs per one man. Grizz, this the thing, right? Where y'all gonna put all of these dogs? If you got a
right.
6-man team and four of y'all in one car, where y'all? You said two people. That's 8 dogs. You know how big these damn dogs is? How you gonna get all them dogs in the car, man? Jova Q, what up,
How you
man?
gonna keep the fugitive when you recover?
This crazy. There you go. Start the bleeding CPR, man. I mean, listen, you could still be a cop, man. Listen, I tell everybody, man, it depends on what you want to do. Being a cop isn't bad. It just depends on what are your goals. I wouldn't aim to be on patrol for the next 20 years.
Right.
He said, I don't like cops. They constantly violate the Constitution. So, Grizz, why don't you become a cop?
Change it from within.
Exactly. When I first wanted to become a cop, that's why, because I ain't like them. And they did things I didn't like, but I could stand on the outside and say, "Oh, I don't like them because of this," or I could get inside and become that difference, so people view that uniform different.
And to Grizz's comment, I would say that comes back to training as well. A lot of cops violating people's rights because they don't understand or truly know the laws that they're supposed to be enforcing.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times we gotta blame the academies. For instance, in Philadelphia, let's say they were telling the Philly police officers that it doesn't matter if you do have a gun permit, open carry is illegal. What the city fails to realize is that Pennsylvania is an open carry state. And in the city of the first class, the requirement to open carry is that you have a concealed carry permit. It is not illegal. But when you have institutions and academies pushing off information that's false, what do you think is going to happen when these cops get on the street? They think they're doing the right thing by what they were told when the trainers let them down and failed them in the academy and gave them the wrong information. What the hell? Not all cops are the same, just like all people aren't the same. Cops are people too, facts. But even then, I'm still going to dislike cops. So you gonna be a cop and not like them? So you ain't even gonna like you? Or better yet, become a politician and change the law? Oh, there we go. You and some type of cleaners. Ain't no Republican gonna get elected in Flint. Never say never, Grizz. Things always happen. You wonder why they say that? Because they say it's a first class state. Mm. Or independent. What up, Pablo? If you're not a Democrat, you ain't getting elected. They used to stop the war. They used to make videos open carrying. I think his name was Woody. Yo, they used to stop him all the time. He sued. No, you know what? I think he had a run in with an agent I know because on private property you could leave, and if you don't leave, you're trespassing. Um, he didn't won a few lawsuits from the city, but I think that time he actually got um jammed up for trespassing. But he used to do that all the time. He would open carry just because cops didn't know the law. And he probably knew somebody on the inside that told him that. So he kept open carrying. Like, I'm just going to get the bag. They can't tell me this. And then when it goes to court and he's right per state law, he wins and then he could sue, say that his rights was violated and they're going to have to cut that check. My man Mike, what up, Mike? Mike, what's going on, man? How you been? You stateside, Mike, or you out here working? Pennsylvania versus Mims. I hate that case law. Family ties two-way. What up? What up? Yo, NRA gonna be lit.
It's been a blast, people, but I gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning. So I'll holler at y'all. Everybody stay safe and get some training.
Facts, facts. So that's what's up, Mike. That's what's up.
Peace.
Oh no, Josh, you gotta leave right now, right now.
Wow, what's up?
I was going to bring Grizz on so you can meet Grizz if he's still in here.
I mean, you can bring him on. I can stay for a few minutes.
Hey Grizz, I'm gonna bring you on. Stephanie, what's going on? Hey Stephanie, I forgot you in Houston. Stephanie, you coming to NRA?
So, ain't got the beard no more, Byron. What's going on,
Yo,
man?
yo, Grizz didn't shave.
Yeah, man, I shaved. I had to for my job. I'm
Oh
still in
man.
training for a job, but yeah,
So
you
Grizz, what's
know,
up with
like,
this, man? Why you don't want to be a cop, man?
man, I'm gonna honestly say it, man. Like, to be honest with you, there's too much risk, bro. Like, being a cop, there's more risk and stuff that I'm not willing to take, and the fact that I've had more bad experiences with cops than good, it kind of like turns me away from the whole situation, man. And it's like, you know what, with how they violating, the person that's in power that I don't get along with of the police department, I'm like, yeah, I already know he's gonna be on my ass 24/7.
Nah, man. Hey Stephanie, you got to let me know so we can try and link up do some shooting. You know we got 2A Summerfest, Stephanie. It's my event, 2A Summerfest
And
in
I'm a firm
June.
believer, like all cops take an oath to uphold the Constitution. Am I wrong? They do. When protect and this and that. So therefore, you're under the same oath as the United States military. So that means if the governor is forcing you guys to enforce a red flag law, and I'm getting into this, you guys just violated the United States Constitution. Not only did you violate the Fourth Amendment, you violated the Sixth and the Second. And that's why I don't like cops, man. I see them doing stuff like that, and when you're under the same oath as United States military personnel, and you violating that oath, it means your word wasn't shit to begin with.
Oh yeah, see, my man Paul was on the YouTube, Grizz, based off what you said. He said Ronald Reagan was elected the governor of California as a Republican. Anything's possible.
But you get where I'm getting at with that, man. I'm not
You
exactly.
got to be the change, Grizz. You got to be the
I
change.
mean, your fact that your reasoning is valid. I think there is a slight difference between in the oaths. Um, most police officers are union, so they're not the property of their department. Military, you're the property of the U.S. government.
But at the same time, the police are under the governor's control, right? Am I wrong? And under the state's control, because the governor, much like the National Guard and stuff, because the National Guard would follow under not only federal, but they would follow under the governor too. So,
Right. Well,
and then,
I would say
but
the governor has more control over the National Guard than they do the police. The police are beholden to the laws that are on the books. Governor
which,
can't control.
but who
Governor
makes
can't.
the law? Congress and the
Congress,
governor.
not the. No, the governor does not make the laws. The governor has no law creating power.
Now that's why I wanted you on here, Josh. See, Josh do this legal thing.
Yeah. So now if the top brass are allowing the governor to just make rules and they're enforcing them, that's something different. That sounds
Which happens a lot in Michigan,
that
bro.
sounds like there could be some corruption going on.
Facts. T City,
Um,
I think it might be different. DM me, we'll talk about
but
it.
but man, I got
but
the
again,
utmost respect for fugitive recovery, our military, our fire department, and the EMT. It's just the whole cop thing. Man, you guys are violating your oath. You guys say you're for the Constitution and stuff, but yet you guys are violating every fucking aspect of it. And I'm just like,
Well, Grizz, this is the thing though. If they're violating, right? Have you ever had your constitutional rights violated?
fuck yeah, dude. Dude, I'm in Flint. You name a time when I haven't, dude.
But this is the thing. So what did you do in reference to that? Because a lot of people sue. If you violate my rights, I can literally sue you and win. Free payday.
But how it is, if you don't have proper evidence and proper cause, even if you go into court, right? So because I had this recent charge I was looking at, right?
Wait,
My lawyer
Grizz,
was,
before you go into this, has it been thrown out? Or is it still in
yeah.
process?
I was looking at it, but it was thrown out, and
Okay.
because I went into aspects of how that cop violated my rights and how he was twisting, and when I asked, am I under arrest? Am I being detained? And you failed to let me know until I was in the cop car. That is a violation of someone's rights. Because they have to physically let you know if you are being detained. If they say we will get to this, automatically right then and there, if you have that on video recording, he done fucked up. And then if he don't read you your Miranda rights, almost for 2 fucking hours, he fucked up. So I was pointing this shit out. I had this shit on my phone. This and that. This motherfucker getting scared like I already knew everything that was
Why you
going
ain't have
on.
a lawyer, Grizz? Hold on real quick. Azuka, yeah, what people pay for Stop the Bleed because when you go to these online free things, it's not always the same. Like when I looked at the Stop the Bleed course for me to issue a certificate, I go into more things than that course does.
Now I'm gonna say this. Why don't I have a lawyer? Because sometimes you can't afford a lawyer. You so damn broke you can't afford a lawyer, so you gotta be good with that shit.
And
Am I
somebody
wrong?
else said the National Guard belongs to the state unless federally mobilized.
yeah. No, and Chris, you're right about that. But if you're talking
Legislative
about
branch makes laws.
your constitutional rights are violated, there's lawyers that'll take that up and file and sue for you based on the money that you'll get when you win.
Yep. Somebody else
But
just
you
said
know,
that's why them First Amendment auditors win all of them lawsuits.
yeah. But I'm gonna say this right now, especially on a Sunday. Good luck getting a lawyer on a damn Sunday. I'm gonna say that right now. If you going in the court on a Sunday, good luck getting a goddamn lawyer. Cause half
No,
them
you're
motherfuckers.
absolutely right. I'm not like what we're saying. You don't do that. That doesn't affect the here and now at the moment. But
Yeah.
if you're saying your rights were violated a month ago, you should be talking to a civil rights attorney right now
Yeah,
Pro
I am.
bono.
about filing a lawsuit. No, it's not pro bono. It's we're gonna file this lawsuit. It's just like any attorney who handles a car accident case.
Yep.
You're gonna take a percentage of what we win.
And he asked me, has the case already been thrown out? He asked me if the case has already been thrown out. And I'm like, yeah, the case has already been thrown out. He's like, then, you don't have shit to worry about. There's no point in spending the money on this shit because the case has already been thrown out.
My rights was violated. They gotta cut me a check.
You're talking about, you're probably we're talking to a criminal attorney. You need a civil attorney.
All right? I got to look into this shit, man, because, I'm going to be open and honest with you, dude. Like, a lot of times, if my shit's dry, I don't look at it any further. But if, it happens and I can get access to that shit and I know to look at a civil attorney, all right, now I'm going to fucking do that. Because at the time, I was still kind of dumb, So, I'm going to say that.
You just didn't know.
That's how the stuff keeps happening. Because people say, all right, I'm cool. I beat the charge. I'm out. I'm clear. That's how the system doesn't change. But if these people, if these cops are doing what you're saying they're doing, and nobody checks them on it, nobody calls them to the mat on it, that's why they're going to keep doing it.
Yep.
Exactly, man.
And plenty of attorneys work on retainer.
But as far as it being too dangerous, you're absolutely right. Like being a police officer is not for the faint of heart.
But then if that's the case, neither is being a fugitive recovery.
But at the same time, I'm more understanding with the fugitive recovery because they actually present that fucking piece of paper and that fucking warrant rather than what a fucking cop does and they state their purpose.
But
So
but Grizz, think about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a cop, it's a lot of cops out here and police officers that do warrants, and they legally have to announce. They have to announce that they're serving a warrant. They have to announce that they're police. They can't just kick in your door for no reason.
Yeah. But there's a lot more shit, in my opinion, that fugitive recovery agents are better handled on than what fucking cops are. I'm gonna say that right now.
Is what?
There's a lot of shit that fugitive recovery agents are able to do that cops ain't. And here's the thing: the fugitive recovery, in my opinion, from someone that's actually worked with, when I had a bench warrant with a fugitive recovery, I'd rather deal with a fugitive recovery agent than a fucking cop. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, well, you gotta look at it. The fugitive recovery guys, they don't have a lot of skin in the game except for you to turn yourself in. You know what I mean? So it's a different aspect because I can't say that they have more power because fugitive recovery don't have arrest powers. You have re-arrest powers because somebody's already won it.
Yeah, well, technically, here's the thing: if you show up to their house and you got a bench warrant, a fugitive recovery agent can fucking arrest them, but they gotta hold them in contempt until they can get them a fucking court.
They're not being arrested; they're being re-arrested.
Yeah. Azika, hit me up, man, because I'm about to do some
But
I'm about to do my pistol combat triage course. I could definitely use your help.
Yeah, but what I'm gonna say this is because I had to deal with the fugitive recovery and stuff. But he showed up to my house because he thought my bench warrant was still thing. I'm like, nah. I called. I went in. I talked to the court. I had all my court fines paid off. This and that. Handled my business because I was out of state. I got approved by my PO. To go see my grandma because she was in the hospital and shit. And I got permission to leave state. Because if you got permission to leave state, but you're supposed to be back, I thought it was the next day, not the day of that I went down, that I was returning. So I went and talked to the courts. They got my stuff thrown out of court because you know how it is. You want to be a man. You want to handle your shit. You don't want to be, a repeat offender and shit. But my shit's all thrown out.
But I mean, so future recovery agents have a higher level of usable discretion.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's it. They actually have much less actual authority and ability to navigate the system than police officers. All you have your whatever the state they're in, whatever they're certified under, they have that section, and that's all they can do. So,
Damn.
I mean, but it is. Listen, if you can up and decide, you can say, "Hey, man, you could be looking them dead in the face. I never found them." If that's what you want to say, you can say that. It's not like with most jurisdictions as a police officer, if you pull up to a domestic, somebody's got to go to jail.
Yeah, see, now, I look at it, the whole domestic thing, like, a lot of cops, you know, you get a call for domestic violence. But here's the thing. They don't tell you who called the police. They don't tell you this and that. And, technically, in a bit of a way, that's a violation of your Sixth Amendment because you got the right to know who your accuser is.
Well, Grizz, listen, you gotta understand. If it's a domestic, you know who the accuser was. Somebody in your damn house.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah,
It could have been the neighbor because they heard something.
it could be a neighbor too calling because this and that. So a cop not telling you that, he's still technically in violation of your sit.
No, it's not. You are not entitled to. You're entitled to know who your accuser is, but not at the time of arrest. You're entitled to face your accuser at trial. The time of arrest, because in that case, when charges are filed by the state's your accuser. You can't actually see the state. It's not. So it's.
But at the same time, where I'm gonna get at with this is right because they arrest you and stuff. What's the probable cause other than a phone call? They don't have substantial evidence other than a phone call.
No, but Grizz, you can't say that.
The probable cause would be we got a call, we showed up, and I'm sitting there with my eye hanging out because I got beat up. The probable cause for the arrest is we got a call for domestic. I see that you're injured. If I say they did it, that's the probable cause.
Right.
Now, do they have the right to kick your door in? No, unless they see somebody's actively in danger.
Yeah,
but if they knock on the door, police open up, and I open the door, and I'm all beat up.
But I'm a firm believer, dog. If you in your own house, someone's getting drunk and hostile, you should have the right to be able to handle that shit and disarm them and basically restrain that person from attacking you.
You gonna do that all night?
I'm gonna say that a cop would do the same thing.
No, they're gonna take them to jail.
No, but no, you do. Nobody's saying you don't. If you're sitting there and somebody's attacking you restraining
someone, but the fact that you get arrested for restraining someone, now it becomes, a violation.
Yeah, but Grizz, it's the difference. If the cops come to the house, you got a black eye, and you're holding them, and they're still being aggressive, the cops can see that. A lot of times when they arrive, people go to jail because they're the aggressor when the cops get there. If they get there, nothing, and nobody's doing nothing, and it seems like everything is calm and coolly, nobody's going to jail because they have no reason to lock somebody up. If you go to jail after the police arrive for a domestic, it's because you were probably being aggressive, or you were probably putting hands on somebody at the time in front of the cops. Or if they show up to your house, Grizz, you got a couple scratches on your face, but your lady laying on the floor, eye hanging out of her head, lip busted, nose bleeding, you're going to jail, my boy. Y'all both might go to jail. Because you could oh, look, she did this and I was defending myself. Okay, they lock both of y'all up and call it a day.
Now, y'all both going to jail.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say this right now. If you got scratches and you got bruises on you, yeah. But I'm going to tell you this right now. As a man, 9 times out of fucking 10, The cops gonna take the goddamn lady's side, especially if she hit you and you did nothing wrong.
That's not true. I know
Listen,
cops that have locked up a lot of
if
women at
she
domestics.
if she says he beat my ass, you're going to jail. Because she shows bruises, she's making a statement that you were the one who did it. Yes, you're going to jail.
Yeah, but like if you were trying to restrain her from coming at you with a knife and further fucking giving you a black eye and shit,
Well,
you're
where
still going to jail. You put
no,
your hands on her.
you got to say
If
that,
you're trying to
Grizz.
restrain her, she shouldn't look beat the fuck up.
That part,
Yeah.
it got to make sense,
And then
Grizz.
at some point, you do have the accountability, the personal accountability. If she keeps trying to beat you the fuck up, leave.
Yeah, why are you staying?
Yeah. But man, you know, some men just stay because they like them crazy women, dog. You know how it is. You know
Nah,
how it
not
is.
enough to go to jail. You gonna end up in there. You gonna end up.
Get used to going to jail. Get used to going to jail then. Because in a lot of jurisdictions, if you get called for a domestic and they can prove the elements of a domestic violence crime, somebody has to go to jail. There is no discretion.
Yep. What do you say? Mutual combat.
But I'm gonna say this, like if like with me, I'm a firm believer. If my uncle's drinking and shit, and he's putting his hands on me, and you know, I feel like it's necessary because I get at times where, you know, like if someone's drinking and stuff, and I try to restrain them, and they're just not stopping, then I have no choice but to try to walk away. If I can't, then I'm throwing hands. You know, like it just
That's self-defense.
you know, it's
Yeah,
self-defense.
that's mutual
If,
combat.
if you still in your house and shit, then it could fall under domestic because guess what? You fought back and you could not leave.
It could, but that's where everybody has to be. Like you would have to say it's going to fall under a domestic if when they show up, you just sit there and don't say anything.
Right.
Yeah, you got
to show up. You say my uncle's drunk. He tried to kick my ass, so I defended myself. Your uncle's going to jail.
Yeah, but sometimes they'll take you both to jail because that's how cops work.
Because y'all were in a fight. They're taking you to jail. They're taking you to jail because at that point it was domestic assault. Mm-hmm. Y'all were both fighting. Like you were both wrong.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Hey, right now, I don't need no more fucking bullshit with the cops because they said I was about 1 or 2 charges away from fucking losing my gun rights permanently. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to even deal with them motherfuckers anymore. I'm going to keep my nose fucking clean because I don't need that shit.
There you go.
Because that's motivation to keep your nose clean, dog. When you going to lose your gun rights and shit with, you know, a couple more charges, I'm like, fuck that.
It absolutely is. You're right. And on that note, I do need to take it down. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe.
All right, bro.
I'll catch y'all next time.
Yeah. All right, bro.
You take it easy.
Nah, Ezekiel, you was right. He said my man said he had to get up for 30. He might want to take himself up on that offer, big fella, go to sleep.
Yeah, but I got you, man. But I'm just gonna say, man, you know, I'm a firm believer, you know, that, you know, I love my Constitution, I love my gun rights, but having them motherfuckers stripped from you and dealing with more cops, it's better to leave that shit alone.
Grizz, this is the thing though, right? Mm-hmm. This is what you got to realize. Cops can only enforce the law. They can only do, and this is what I tell people all the time, you're not going to win that argument on the side of the road. The side of the road is not the time. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to go your way. Okay? On the side of the road is not going to go your way. But, right? But, you have to be smart. You got to play chess. Everybody want to play checkers because, oh, yo, my rights is this, and you want to get all aggressive. Guess what happens when you get aggressive?
You got to be strategic with that shit.
You give them a reason. I'm going to be the nicest, smart ass ever. Because I'm going to let you know how you're violating my rights, and I'm going to cooperate with you. Because it's a lawsuit at the end of this tunnel. So when they say, oh, did you notify the cop? Oh, yeah, run his body cam. I told him how he was violating my rights. But make sure you know what you're talking about. Because there's a lot of cops that understand. And they'll know that they're not. And if the and it's the thing you got to understand. A lot of times, the energy you get from police determines on the energy you give them.
Yeah,
Because think about this: it takes two people to argue, right? If a
yeah.
cop is super aggressive, yeah, da, 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 da. Wow. I don't know why you're that upset. Can you calm down so we can have this conversation? No, you don't tell me to calm down. I'm not
I'm down.
telling you to do anything. I'm suggesting us have a civilized conversation so we can hear each other. Because if we're yelling, nobody hears. Oh, you're not going to be yelling. Okay. For my safety, I would like a supervisor.
Yep. Yep, I get exactly what you're saying, man. But I know I
Because,
look extremely fucking weird. This and that fucking shaved. I know, dog. I
but
just had to.
yeah, I mean, listen, Greg. Sometimes you got to shave, man. It is what it is.
Hey, trust me, I hate it, dog. But I'm gonna put it this way: the fact that my job, said I needed it down, shaved down, and I couldn't get it down to a quarter of an inch, but they allowed me to have a mustache and this right here. I'm cool with that. But trying to get that down and shit, and the only thing you got is some hair clippers, and trying to get it down to a fucking quarter of an inch, man. I want to say,
Nah,
I want to say,
that should be a pain, bro. I remember a job I had a job years ago and they used to tell me, man, you ain't shaved. They ain't even want all of this. They only wanted a mustache. And if you had this, it had to be really, really thin. Then I started letting my John grow. He said, and the safety guy came up, Byron, what's up with this? I said, what you mean? I make this shit look good. What you mean?
uh, but here's the thing, especially when you're a carry-out slash server and hostess at a restaurant, they want you clean cut. It's different if you working in the back, like doing dishwashing and shit. But if you up front, you got to be clean cut, this and that, because professional image. And right now, I'm working at a restaurant, so
I mean, you know what? You gotta just look into that, girls, because I know a lot of people that use. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's right nor wrong, and I'm not gonna say that they're lying or they're not. But based off of religious practices, some people have not had to shave, and if they weren't hired based off of that, then that's discrimination.
Right. Yeah, because I know the military, they do give you waivers and stuff based on religion, but even then, like, I mean, it can be challenged and stuff because I know like Orthodox Christians and shit. And even though I was raised Southern Baptist, bro, I'm slowly going Orthodox, man. It's just I'm getting to that point where I'm going more Orthodox. You know,
You
I'm
need a
just
pair
saying.
of T-liners; they'll get you right.
Dude, what the fuck, man? Come on, you're such a smart ass, dog. Nah, but
uh,
dude, I'm gonna tell you, dog. Like one of the best fucking barbers I've ever seen happens to be a fucking Jamaican. I'm gonna say that right now.
hey,
Jamaicans
listen.
are some of the best fucking barbers I've ever had. I'm gonna give you guys down on that.
I seen this one barber shop. It was in another
Uh-huh.
country. By
Uh-huh.
far, the best barber, the most expensive haircut,
Uh-huh.
but the services seem to make it worth it. I think the haircut was like $120, but look
Yeah, but
to
I'm actually looking at it, man. I've been studying and stuff because if this restaurant work don't work out, I'm gonna study, dude. I've been studying. I got my paperwork that I've been writing like little cliff notes down, like little problems and shit for the ASVAB. So I want to go fucking back down, dog. I'm literally gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna keep my mind focused on it and shit because if restaurant work don't work out, I want to go full time. The two MOSs I've been looking at, 12B Army Combat Engineer or 12N Horizontal Construction Engineer, which they are the Army's heavy equipment operators.
so you about to go to the military, Grizz?
I'm thinking about it, dog. Like, look, nothing's really here in Michigan, dog. I get to go back to Missouri. I get to go back to my early childhood home, dog.
Hey, Jova Q, don't start your shit, man. Hey, Jova Q, don't start your shit. Oh man, it's too early for this, man. It ain't midnight yet, man.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
this right now, dog. I'm gonna say this. I miss Missouri, bro. I do. I miss it with a passion. You know, early childhood up until age 13 was there. You know, so I'm like, man, just the fact of it, man. I also miss parts of Arkansas, dude. Like Paragould, Arkansas is fucking
But
beautiful down there.
but see, you know something, Greg? Every place changes. Those places that you remember
Mm-hmm.
might not be those the same places you remember now.
Yeah, it's like last time I went down there, dog, and I'm like, man, I look at like all these places where my childhood was and stuff. I'm like, man, it really hasn't changed much. Yeah, you know, there's some rust and stuff and some repair that needs to be done. But I'm like, dog, it's still beautiful to me. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, man, I wish I could be back down here. It was that fucking great. Like my childhood was fucking great down here. Even though I went to alternative schools and shit down in Missouri, and I was kicked out of a lot of schools. I moved around a lot.
Grizz, you out here thugging, bro?
What? When I was, you know, about 13 and shit.